Okay, let's get a little sight singing in. This is from your course pack, but you can read it off of here. It's actually the second half of the chorale we did on Thursday. So let's take a look at the tenor line. This one is really busy compared to the line we did on Thursday. So we're going to take it in pieces. We're going to go phrase by phrase. So that first phrase that's highlighted, so we're going to go through the first fermata. We're kind of C major-ish, and you start on a 5 chord. So your starting pitch is here. You're on solfege C. So give yourself a read through that first fermata. And let's see how you do. 1, 2, 3. Si, do. So aiming to land on a Mi at the very end, we actually move to a half cadence in A minor there. Let's give it one more go. 1, 2, and si, do, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, mi. Okay, move on to the second phrase. As you're looking at that second phrase, it looks like it moves around a lot, and it definitely does. But you have this nice little sequential pattern here, these pairs of descending fifths to start. You're starting on Mi, and you come back to Mi on this downbeat. So with those two pieces of information, I think you should be okay. So give it a look. There's a Mi for you. And let's see how you do. 1, 2, and Mi, la, Mi, re, do, si. Try it one more time, and then we're going to string those two phrases together. 1, 2, and Mi, la. And let's try both phrases together. So starting C for you. 1, 2, and si, do, sol, la, si. Mi, la, re. Mi, re, do, si. Take a look at the very last phrase. It looks intimidating. It's got a lot of notes, but so you're starting out here on sol. Got this big old stepwise descent. You turn around at the top and you move down stepwise almost to where you started. That should help you iron out that first measure. So there's your starting pitch. Walk yourself through that last phrase. And let's see how you do. So starting so for everybody. 1, 2, 3. Sol, la, si, do, re, do, ti, la. So you have that Picardy third again. You actually get the fun part of the cadence. You get the altered third. By far the hardest part is navigating this, right? And that's the only part I didn't play for you. So let's try it one more time, and then I'll consider you officially warm. 1, 2, 3. Sol, la, si, do, re, do, ti, la, do, fa, re, si, mi, do. Okay, As you're looking towards your small song and tenor clef, if you haven't done that yet, one of them is notated in tenor clef and you'll sing it. The other one is just speaking solfege really quickly. Not that many people have chosen to do that one yet. It is really challenging, but it's actually super fun. So if you haven't gotten to that part of your Unit 2 assignments yet, maybe consider doing that one just as a tenor clef fluency challenge. Okay, let's talk rhythm cannons. So coming to you in the chat is a link to a Google Doc. That Google Doc explains everything I would like you to do. I'm going to send you off into breakout groups for about 7 minutes. In your groups, you are going to come up with a 4-measure canon. 4 bars of 2/4, just like we've been doing for practice and for warm-ups in class. Your canon, when it's done at that 1-measure displacement like we've been doing, has to express 2 against 3 at one point, and it also has to express 3 against 4 at one point. And there are various ways you can navigate that and make that happen, right? The best way for you as you're composing this as a group to check it is to do it together. And or to actually physically notate it out with your lead line and then your line that's in canon kind of below it so you can actually see measure by measure what's going on. When you're in your groups, designate one person a spokesperson. When we come back to the whole group, that person will lead us all and we will perform the canon by ear as a class. So each of your groups will perform, each of your spokespeople will perform the canon for us and we'll play along as a class by ear. So you're going to have 3 people in group. I'm sending you off now and you've got about 7 minutes. Off you go.
Yes, chocolate.
All right, everyone's back. I hope you have your designated spoke folk. So let's go ahead and start. So whoever is performing the canon, can you give us 2 full bars or 2 full passes through it? So you'll go through your 4-bar segment twice. Put a repeat sign on it. All right, breakout room 1. Adrian, Jason, Jonah. Who's your spokesperson?
That would be me.
All right, Jace, go to it.
Should I share the screen or should I just do it without it?
Without.
Okay, great. All right. Ta 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 ta.
Awesome. So we got our 3 against 4 in the fast form that time. So 16th notes layered against triplets. Cool. Groovy. Breakout room 2. Maya, Sam, Stephanie. Who's your spokesperson?
That's me.
Alrighty.
Ta 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 ta.
Awesome. So with that one, then we got our 3 against 4 was now the slow form. So with 8th notes layered against those quarter note triplets. So we got them both, got 1 of each. All right, breakout room 3, Eliza and Francis. Who do we got?
That's me.
Okay.
Ta 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 ta.
All right, great. So now you guys approach the quarter note triplets, and a couple people in my last class did this too, in a really challenging way. The easiest way to get into quarter note triplets is with triplets right beforehand, right? So you have the subdivision in your ears. You guys approached it in one of the more challenging ways. So coming into quarter note triplets out of eighth notes or 16th notes is way more challenging. So you've got to be able to almost aurally have a polyrhythm going on. You're hearing triplets while you're performing some kind of duple, and then you slide into the quarter note triplets. So that's really, really challenging. Nice job. Okay, great, guys. So the last 10 minutes then we are going to spend with a little bit of modulation work. So let's take a look at the progression that we have up here. When we're talking about reinterpreting a 7/7, the easiest way to navigate these 7/7s initially is to do so as a variant of the 5/7. So we know that the 7 is a dominant substitute, and it's a dominant substitute because it shares a lot of pitches with the 5/7. So the easiest way to navigate these 7/7 chords initially, until we get more comfortable with them, is to approach them as derivatives of the 5/7. So just for our reference, I'm going to put the numbers to a 7/7 up here. We're going to just work in major keys today, which is why I have that flat on the 6. If you remember from Theory 2, our 7 fully diminished 7 is a mixture chord. We borrow the flat 6 from the parallel minor. So that's a root position 7/7 in numbers, just for our reference. Now let's take a look at what we have going on in the blue part of the progression. Nice diatonic start, 1-6-4. Then we have our last inversion 5 chord, which maintains scale degree 4 in the bass. So 4-5-7-2 is that 5 chord. And then we turn it into a 7-4-3. So if we go back to our root position numbers here, 4-3 then means that scale degree 4 will be in the bass. So we've got this chain of harmonies that are built off of scale degree 4. So we're going to go 4, and then we'll have flat 6, 7, and 2. So just by looking at those, then you can see that we share everything except for that second pitch. So our dominant, we go 4-5-7-2, and then all we do is take that 5 and we turn into flat 6 for the next chord. All the other 3 notes stay the same. Now, we're using that as a pivot, so let's respell it then in our new configuration, which is as a 4-2. So by looking at that root position number chain again, that means now we're going to have flat 6 in the bass. And both those harmonies are going to sound exactly the same. They're both just chains of minor thirds. But now we're going to a root position 5-7. And once again, the only thing that changes is your bass, or is your flat 6 turning into 5 this time. And what's going to make this modulation lock in is that you remember that from flat 6 to 5, it's a half step. So you just creep that bass note down by half step, and then you'll have a nice root position 5-7, and hopefully you can then aurally hear and navigate the resolution to 1. Okay, let's just try it. We're going to sing it nice and slow. I'm going to play pretty much all of it with you. No triplets on the 7th chord, just nice and steady. Ready, and 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 6, 1, 3, 1, 6, 4, 6, 1, 6, 4, 4, 5, 7, 2, 7, 5, 4. Just change that 5. 4, 6, 7, 2, 7, 6, 4. Switch your numbers. 6, 7, 2, 4, 2, 7. Now just move your bass. 5, 7, 2, 4, 2, 7. 5. Resolve it on your own. So hopefully you ended there. Now that modulation scheme, once we get through the whole thing, brings us, that is a modulation to the major 6. So one of our mediant modulations. Okay, now that you got the first pass under your belt, let's try it again. I'm not going to sing this time. I'm going to play with you, but I'm not going to sing. And I'm only going to play kind of select spots. Let's see how you go. Ready, and. Redo your numbers. Just move your bass. Okay, fine. So, scale of 1 to 10. How did that feel? Throw it in the chat so I can sort of get a sense of how that's going for everyone. Cool. Awesome. So when we look at that fully diminished 7, when it's just acting as a 7 chord and not a 7 of anybody, we talked about on Thursday how it can shuttle us to these mediant related keys. When we start turning it into an applied 7 chord on either one or both sides of the modulation, that opens up the possibility for moving to even different key areas and key relationships. And that's what you can see down here. And I didn't get a chance to get to this in my earlier classes, so I'm going to keep everyone kind of the same and just table it until Thursday. But we will work with these modulations using like a 7, 7, a 5, turning into just a 7 or vice versa. And that opens up our options for key relationships as well. Okay, before I let you go then, a quick kind of looking ahead. So those rhythm canons that you did, you guys all came up with really solid ones. For Unit 3, in lieu of a music by ear, we're actually going to be having you build your own rhythm canons and perform them. So rather than doing a transcription, you are going to be in charge of composing and performing your own rhythm canons, very similar to what we just did. Unit 3 info will start rolling out the beginning of next week, but just so that's kind of on your radar, the music by ear for this unit was really challenging. So we're gonna switch gears and have you do something that's a little more, kind of more creative and composition based. Get your stuff to me if you haven't already. I'm pretty much glued to Google Classroom from now until Saturday. So expect a pretty rapid turnaround with everything. So, 12 to 24 hours on things. I do go to bed early, so if you send me something after 9, it ain't getting graded until the next day. But other than that, expect a pretty quick turnaround. If you got questions, let me know. Otherwise, thank you all for your wonderful work, and I will see you guys on Thursday.